Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce. My name is Riski Wulandari with NIM 431321009 from the D3 Medical Laboratory Technology Study Program. Previously, I would like to thank Fitri Nurhidayanti, Mother SPD MPD as a launcher in English. In my test text, in order to fulfill the quest achievement of the English course with the theme diabetes mellitus. Before starting the presentation, I will deliver the order of presentation that I will present. Namely, first, I will explain about the meaning of diabetes mellitus. Secondly, I will explain what are the causes of diabetes mellitus. 3. I will explain about type 2 diabetes mellitus and a grade of cases of type 1 diabetes mellitus. And fourthly, I will explain about type 2 diabetes mellitus and present a graph of cases of type 2 diabetes mellitus in 2007 and 2030. And 50, I will explain about diabetes gestational. Next, I will expose the sign poster of diabetes. And finally, the closing. Well, I'm going to start the presentation. Before, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this my channel. Okay, diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus is one of the disorders of chronic metabolic disorders with multi-etiology characterized by high level of glutathione in the blood. This disease is due to chronic carbohydrate metabolism. The disease characterized by the presence of persistent hyperglycemia and glucosuria. Diabetes mellitus is generally divided into two types, namely type 1 diabetes mellitus and type 2 diabetes mellitus. Apart from the two types of diabetes mellitus, there is also diabetes that's occurring during pregnancy, namely gestational diabetes. Secondly, viral and bacterial infection that can damage the beta cell of the pancreas, in which the functional beta of the pancreas production the hormone insulin, which is used for increasing the entry of glucose into cell, storing glucose as glycogen or conversion into fatty acids, as well as increasing the synthesis of proteins and fatty acids and suppressing the overhaul of protein into amino acid. The third, toxic material that can damage the beta cell of the pancreas. The fourth, nutrition increase weight is at high risk of developing diabetes mellitus. The fifth, insulin is insufficient, so insulin injection needed in people with diabetes mellitus so that this disease can be controlled. The so from this is it can be called the type 1 diabetes mellitus course, also in children and adults. 6. Areas in complication in venous and capillary blood cell. Further, about type 1 diabetes mellitus. Type 1 diabetes mellitus occurs because the patient's immune system attacks and destroys the pancreatic cell that produces immune. Type 1 diabetes mellitus is also known as autoimmune diabetes. So that the insulin production by the sufferer is very little or abundantly in insulin production insulin. Generally, this happens before the age of 13, namely is children and adolescents. Scientists believe that environmental factor in the form of viral infection or not nutritional factor in children or early adulthood cause the immune system to destroy insulin production cell in the pancreas. For the occurrence of this genetic predisposition is necessarily more than 19% of insulin production cell suffer pregnant damage. There is a severe insulin deficiency and suffering so get insulin injection regularly. In some cases, in cases type 1 diabetes mellitus, diabetes triggers more at the age of 10 liters of 11 years. That is, it reached 403 cases. At the age of 5 and 9 years of the disease, 275 cases were recorded, while at the age of less than 5 years, there were 146 cases recorded, and the age of less than 15 years old, only 25 cases were recorded. And so from this, it can be concluded that type 1 diabetes mellitus occurs in children and adolescents. Next up, about type 2 diabetes mellitus. Where diabetes mellitus type 2 is a type of diabetes that occurs more often. That is caused by body cells that become less sensitive to insulin, so that the insulin production cannot be used properly or the resistance of body cell to insulin. Where the pancreas still production insulin, sometimes the level are hydrated as normal, but the body form immunity to its effects to that relative insulin deficiency, of course. The disease is common in children and adults but usually occur after the age of 13. This risk factor for type 2 diabetes of obesity were about 8 to 90% of survivors are obese. Type 2 diabetes mellitus also tends to be genetic inherit the family.
Accumulated in the blood due to not being absorbed by the body cell properly can cause various disorders of the body cell organs. If diabetes is not controlled properly, various complications can arise. Blood sugar levels are controlled by the hormone insulin, which is produced by the pancreas, which is an organ located behind the stomach. In people with diabetes, the pancreas is unable to produce insulin.
And here is the example of a case of diabetes mellitus disease recorded in the year 2007 and the year 2013, where at the age of 15 of 24 years, it was recorded that only about 0.00 million inhabitants in birth years. That the age of 25 to 34 years. In the year 2007, there were recorded as many as 0.20 million inhabitants, where in the year 2030, there were recorded as many as 0.30 million inhabitants. Then, at the age of 13.5 to 44, it was recorded in the year 2007 as many as 0.18 million inhabitants, where in the year 2013 there were recorded as many as 1 million inhabitants. And the age of 45 to 44, in the year 2007, there were recorded as many as 2 million inhabitants, where in the year 2013, there were recorded as many as 30 million souls. That the age of 55 to 60 for each were recording in the year 2007 as many as 2.90 million souls, while in the year 2030 there were recorded as many as 4.90 million inhabitants, where in the cases in records the highest level in the year. When then at the ago of 60 to 74 in the year 2007, there are recorded as many as 2.50 million souls, where in the year 4 million souls. And lastly, at the age of 75 and about, there were approximately 2.10 million souls in the year 2007. While in the year 2013, there were recorded as many as 30 million inhabitants. Then the next is about gestational diabetes. This type of diabetes occurs during pregnancy, is natural only temporarily attacks during pregnancy and will disappear after giving birth. This is due to hormonal change and blood sugar will return to normal after childbirth. In women, it is one subject with characteristics that have extreme working of obesity, a family history of diabetes, a history of stability, and a history of replacement abortage. Next, symptoms in diabetes. Commonly recognized by type B symptoms, that is polyphagy, where that sufferer always feel hungry, so that the sufferer will eat a lot, and this is the main factor in the occurrence of obesity. And number 2, the polyuria, when the sufferer will always urinate a lot at times. And the last is polydipsia, in which the sufferers always feel thirsty, so that the sufferer will drink a lot beyond the volume required by the body. Next, body. Okay, I can be called the diabetes mellitus disease can affect anyone, anywhere, and anytime. Therefore, I hope the many presentation can add instinct and knowledge to maintain a healthy lifestyle and can regulate the right nutrition for the body. That's all from my presentation. Hopefully, I can meet another attention. If there is a mistake, I apologize and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.